Hey, yeah, it's trash talk time, 8 a.m. Tuesdays.
Yeah,
We do it every week.
we
Like
do. January is a fun month for me because I'm not doing anything.
yeah,
I hope that
kind of the
work,
downhill side of the uphill climb.
yeah, I hope that work realizes that they're going to get about a 30% effort from me for the next
Yeah,
4 weeks.
yeah. You're playing you're playing that mathematics game. You know,
Yeah.
you've given 130%, so you're going to be pushing it if you make 70 going
Yeah. Yeah, I
forward.
got to be honest with you. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
But you're not getting much. Like, don't call me into a work meeting because I don't go to those anyway. So
Yeah.
you call me into a work, like I'm gonna be taking in some days off. I might, and I might roll up in there at 10 o'clock and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go home. So, but yeah, there's it's fun, but we've got some playoffs and we've got the Super Bowl creeping up next month and some parties to think about.
Yeah.
So that
Still,
could be
I mean,
fun.
there's still people that are planning, got some invitations to some parties and some office parties. Sometimes they wait till after the year. And I'm curious if some off businesses will wait till after the first of the year because then they can hand out bonuses from the previous year and all in the new year and account for it in the new year rather than last
And
year.
if you didn't get your Christmas bonus or end of year bonus, you ain't getting it.
That's right. Yeah, no,
Let's just be real, okay?
I'm still looking. I did
You
get an
know,
I did get an invitation to a bourbon party, and I've never heard of a liquor themed party.
so you got to bring a different bottle of bourbon? Is that what you got to do?
No, what it is you sign up. It's a 20th anniversary for this guy, and
Okay.
he loves bourbon, so they are driving to Kentucky to pick up some bourbon and some barrels, and there's a local artisan or something that apparently breaks it down and puts it into smaller barrels, and everybody that participates in this anniversary gathering, goes home with a barrel of bourbon, a smaller barrel of bourbon or something.
A barrel, like your mini barrels?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I've seen those mini barrels. We've had those mini barrels at bars I used to run that had a very limited release, small batch bourbon in there, ranging from like, 19 to $25 a glass, even higher than that.
yeah,
And we're not talking a full glass. So, we're talking like 6 ounces, maybe,
yeah,
So I mean that's interesting. I mean, I could see that. It's weird that they're doing it in January, but if it's his anniversary, I mean, what are you gonna do?
yeah.
But I've done parties like that. I mean, I've always done themed parties, but I've got like themed get-togethers, We used to just get together and we called it so many different names. I called it the Gathering of the Fools. And I would do it once a month. I called it um, Bastards in the Backyard before. We've had these different names, Now I don't call it anything. I just think I call it the Dudes Day or something. And I get a few of my boys over, and everybody brings beer, something. And this is not your Modelo Bud Light crap. We're bringing good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's fun. But then I just did one not too long ago where it was specifically stout. It was Stout Saturday. So all we drank were
Okay.
stouts,
I,
you know?
I I remember over the years going to wine tasting parties. There would be wineries and all that
Yes,
would invite people to come in and sample different wines, and then
sure.
you would leave with buying, several bottles of the things that you liked. And wineries have often done that, but I
They
never
still
never
do.
heard
They
of
still do.
distilleries that do it.
Yeah, I think it's probably I mean, people collect bourbon like they collect wine, and I think it's probably a pretty cool thing that more people should look into, especially with the trends of drinking and alcohol sales, just kind of being in a different place right now. Because the reality is, whether people want to admit it or not, alcohol sales are genuinely down. They're down, not just in January, they're just down. I kind of live in a bubble and I don't see that. But if you look at the trends and you look at where they're going, it's different. It's not what it used to be. So yeah, guys like my age, we don't drink as much as we used to, and we're very particular. So, like a bourbon party would make sense. And I think that breweries and wineries and distilleries should probably advertise that stuff a little more and cater to that small group because you can make a lot of money off that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that there are people that are very particular about their scotch, single
Sure.
malt, double malt scotch, and I mean, they will get a bottle of scotch and hold on to it for 40 years,
Yeah.
for it to age, and I mean, the prices are all over the place too. Uh,
Well, and you've got those, yeah, people that say, "Hey, I'm going to buy this bottle." I mean, I just had a couple this past weekend or 2 weeks ago. They buy a bottle of this particular wine. It was a 2018. They're not drinking it for another 15 years. They already told me they got a plan.
Now,
So, and this is a particular bottle. This is one of those bottles, and these guys store their stuff properly. But this is a bottle, honestly, 20 years from now, you could drink it. It's only going to get better. And it's this particular Italian wine. Um, so I mean, you plan those things. Look, I've got beer. I got beer in my fridge that it can age up to 5 years in the bottle that's approaching its fourth year. So when the new one comes out, we might pop both of them open and do like a vertical 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Let's see what happens, or 2025. I just had right before the holidays, I had a 2022 barrel aged beer. It was delicious. So I mean, I could see that doing that. I mean, there are people that are having parties right now for dry January that everybody's got to bring some sort of, either come up with a mocktail, bring some sort of NA specialty drink,
oh, okay.
yeah, I've been, and so you're still getting that vibe. You're still getting that we're going to party, but you're drinking these fun specialty, it's that clean style of living for a while here. So I don't know. It's kind of cool.
When people buy rare wines and all, do they sometimes say they buy 4 or 5 bottles? They'll drink one now and one
Sure.
5 years from now and one 10 years from now.
Yeah, I've seen them do that, one to drink and one to age, one to store, or one to save, yeah, I've seen that a few times.
I mean,
I'm sure there's quite a few people that do that.
I'm always fascinated when I go into some like some of the local steakhouses and they have got, liquor rooms. People have their own lockers and they will, get their own stock and leave it there for
Yeah.
years and years. And when they have a gathering or a party, they have a bottle brought over from their own locker. Pretty cool.
Well, a lot of cigar shops, people do that, but then also look around town. If you notice, like the storage units, they will advertise that they have wine storage units that you can rent that are going to be regulated
Oh,
for wine.
temperature
So
controlled.
yeah, so let's say, you're not a baller, you can't create a wine cellar, but you can afford maybe $100 a month,
Yeah.
200, whatever that may be, and you can store your 60, 30, 80 bottle collection there. Whenever you need to bust out a couple bottles for a holiday, you just go to the storage unit. And it's temperature controlled and regulated, and you got the insurance on it. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of those across McKinney, Frisco, and different parts of Texas.
Yeah. Do people do that with beer also?
The thing with beer is I don't think anybody's renting out a place for beer. But you can make it. You do have to store beer properly. I mean, most beers, and it's usually the barrel aged stuff or some Belgians and Europeans. You're not doing that with IPAs. You got a 6 month window. And man, I got some craft beer people out there that are so picky anyway. They'll look at the date on the can and be like, well, this is a month old already. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not dead. It's not bad. And it's particularly with the IPAs. They want the freshest IPA. And I'm like, bro, this came from like New York. We're lucky that we got it a month old. They could be sending us 4 month old beer, you know. Then I would be upset. But I mean, like, you're still in that window. It's not like they're sending us 7 month old beer. So you can't really store those, but you can store your barrel aged stuff properly. And I used to do it a lot. I don't anymore. I maybe have a handful of barrel aged stuff that I'm sitting on. I
Yeah.
just don't. I don't have the time for it, don't care to do it. And the ones I do keep, I'll open when I feel like it. I've got more wine right now than I've got beer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean, I'm not much of a drinker and all, but when I got this invitation and what it is they're asking people to pony up $900.
Yeah,
per
you can skip
person.
on that.
So that I mean, apparently it's going to be some pretty good bourbon.
It is, and it's expensive. And when you're getting those small batches and you're divvying them up, like when you look at it, you got to be a collector. You got to be into it, and
Yeah.
it's not like it's going to go bad. You've got some time on it. But $900, I'm good. Look, I balked at spending $24 on a bottle of beer from Goose Island. I was like, I'm not doing it. I'll just buy the regular one for $13.
Yeah.
I didn't get the variant this year. Then we went up to 40, for a bottle. And I get it and I appreciate it and it's cool. But, if I'm going to
Right.
spend
Well,
$24,
you
hmm?
understand it, but do most people understand a $24 bottle of beer?
Well, yeah, I mean, I sold out. So clearly most people
Wow.
understood it. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. They're collectors, they're beer fans.
Yeah.
It comes out once a year. If that's what and in the grand scheme of things, if that's what you're doing, all you're doing is going out on Black Friday to get that particular style, that Goose Island beer, and
Yeah.
you're spending $24. Okay, I mean, you could save it for 5 years, and in the big picture, it could be worse. It's like buying a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
So when you view it that way, because there are some people like, you're spending that on a bottle of beer. I'm like, that's a 14.2% alcohol barrel aged beer that you're sitting on that you can age for 5 years. Yeah. I mean, I get that. Me personally, though, it didn't appeal to me. This go around for the variants that came out. I'm not saying they were bad. I'm not saying that at all. I just went with the regular Goose Island barrel age and still enjoyed it.
What about champagnes and everything? Because I mean,
Yeah.
champagne, you can buy an inexpensive bottle of champagne, and then there's bottles that cost hundreds of dollars.
Well, you're not first of all, most of those are not champagne, number one.
It's just sparkling
Um,
wine.
it's just you can't call it champagne unless it comes from that region. So,
Oh,
um, yeah, you can't. That's why you see them. California, sparkling wine. Prosecco comes from Italy. You can't call it Prosecco if it comes, from the United States, really.
oh,
So, and it's not done the same way, and it's got to get all that. But you can get your sparkling bubbles anywhere. You can get New Mexico has a phenomenal one that looks beautiful, and it's like $13. It tastes great.
really?
um yeah, phenomenal. That I tasted it. I didn't even realize it was from New Mexico till I started talking to the guy who sold it, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. Like the guy who distributes
Right.
it. But yeah, champagne, yeah, I mean, you're looking for a good inexpensive true bottle of champagne, probably $23, $24, tops. If you're looking down at like Andre and Tots and all, those are all sparkling mimosa drinking $9, $7 bottles.
Hey, reach out to Brandon. He's a walking encyclopedia, knows everything there is to know about that stuff. He even
Unfortunately, yeah.
he even does Happy Dad hard seltzer.
Yeah, I do, man. I
The
do. I
Snoop
do.
Man.
Yeah, yeah. But it's crazy. Yeah, those parties are crazy. It would be a fun party. I would go as a guest, but I'm not dropping $900.
Well, yeah, but I just thought, is this a trend that people are now going to? But these special, theme parties have been around for a long time, but all of a
Sure.
sudden, I'm starting to see some of these, not necessarily wine, but liquor in particular.
Yeah,
But I guess if you got a taste for it, then it's a fun party to go to. You
absolutely.
know,
Yeah.
so well, go have a drink on us and come back again next week, and we'll figure out what we're going to talk about then. Okay.
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
All right.
See you
Bye.
later.
See ya.
Bye.